I would like to comment on the next step forward on community surveys, and I'll address this globally. As board members, you know, and as public who has been watching these, the board has been engaged in two series of work sessions, and now we're at the stage in both areas of getting public feedback. So let me start with the facility utilization and redistricting. The board met in July after a series of 4 or 5 work sessions over the course of last year with the intent of doing 2 things. One is to give me process. Who is going to do the look at the redistricting and facility utilization? Is it going to be an internal committee, an external committee, or a consultant? And the second piece was to declare what parameters are going to be reviewed. In other words, what are you going to have the committee look at, or the entity that's going to do the research? But the board decided to take another step, and that is to get, before that process starts, to get community input, feedback. And so that is what we're starting now, and I'll announce tonight that there are going to be several different ways that we will gather that input. The first I'll talk about is a facility utilization survey. The facility utilization survey is now active on our website. Everybody's welcome to participate. If you go to carrollk12.org, you'll see it right on the home page that you can link to and then compile the survey. In addition to that, we have a facilitator that's going to go out, as per board direction, to all board advisory committees, employee groups, political offices, special focus groups, to gather input for people who have already been tapped by the board to provide them with advice. And there will also be a town meeting. The town meeting will be held on November 14th at 6 o'clock at Winters Mill High School. Those dates will be published, and we'll be gathering input on that. All this is at this point is an attempt to gather input from the community. No decisions have been made for school closures. No decisions have been made for redistricting. We haven't even started the process yet. Unfortunately, some misinformation, and I've commented several times, I'm always surprised at the amount of misinformation that's out there. And misinformation is already starting to creep out into the community, and people are starting to refer to this as a school closure survey. It is not a school closure survey. It is a facilities utilization survey where we're gathering input from communities on what is important to you with our facilities. It's a very quick survey, easy to go through. You'll be able to give input. You can give input through the survey, through emails, feedback, attend a town meeting, your verbal input. There's lots of different ways to do it. This is going to take place for the rest of October and November, and then in December, we have a work session scheduled for December 6th, where that feedback will be provided to the Board of Education, and we'll again approach the issue of process and parameters, and this time with the added benefit of public feedback. Now, before I go on to strategic planning, let me ask the board if they have any comments they'd like to make about that piece of it.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes, I want to thank you very much from the incident that happened last night, and I just want to make sure everyone understands it is school facility use and not school closures, because I want it broadcasted, put out there that it's school facility use and nothing else but that, and don't read anything else into it.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else? I'd like to add one thing. I mean, I was at the CAC meeting where you discussed this. You and I both answered lots of questions. I do feel that CAC is energized and ready to commit on November 6th. That's the feeling I got. It's going to be a long meeting.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
The second piece of public feedback that's going on at the same time is strategic planning feedback. The board has spent another series of work sessions going through pillars, identifying what's important to them. As we close out Vision 2018, it's time to start the next process. Last year, the board spent the year going through work sessions, deliberating on what's important to the school system, what pillars we should be trying to achieve, what are the indicators of success, and what are the measures of success. Before the board finishes up in recommending a new strategic plan, they also indicated they'd like to hear from the community about what's important to them and what should be important to the school system as we move forward into a new strategic plan. So that's also out for public input, and many of the dates that I've given you, we'll be doing both of those at the same time. So there won't be a survey connected with strategic planning. It will just be town meeting and a SWOT analysis on what's important to the community for the board to consider as they finalize their strategic plan. The timeline for completion on this aspect is different than the facilities utilization. This plan will not be adopted until the spring because it wouldn't take effect until July of 18. So that's, I wanted to go through that. And board members, that would conclude my comments unless you have any other questions or anything else you'd like me to add.
We're going to be busy.
It's going to be
Yes,
busy.
it's going to be very busy for us as well as the public. Just